So today we're going to be looking at 3 trucks that are going to be a good contender for the Redneck battle truck. But first, we need to define what a Redneck battle truck is. A Redneck battle truck, in my mind, is something that is going to be around and be able to survive an EMP, kind of end of the world situation, something that you would use as a bug out vehicle. So the qualifications in my mind are going to be absolute. Need to have 4-wheel drive. Needs to be able to carry around a crew, right? You're going to want a crew with you to go do your work in the field or whatever you're doing. Needs to be able to carry rations, water, ammunition, guns, whatever the case is that you need to survive out in the wilderness. It's going to be able to haul that, and it's going to be able to run on virtually anything. So all 3 of these contenders are diesels, and we're going to be able to run it on the dirtiest of oil. You got to envision if we do have an EMP or we do get attacked or whatever the case is, doomsday truck. Think doomsday, right? You're going to be trying to get oil, trying to get fuel in random places. We want something to be able to run on that stuff. So that's what the qualifications are for this, and that's what we're going to be looking at today. Right here, we have a 1971 Ford F-250. It's a factory 4-wheel drive truck. This truck is powered by a Ford 6.9 IDI diesel backed by a ZF 5-speed. We bought it from the previous owner in its current condition. It's got a flatbed, which would be amazing for the build, and otherwise it's factory drivetrain. Truck number 2, we have a 1970 Ford F-250 factory 4-wheel drive. This truck has a very unique history. It spent its life working the Alaska pipeline. From day 2 after it was purchased, it got sent down to an outfit in Texas and got outfitted with a 453 Detroit 2-stroke diesel. That's backed by a Clark 5-speed and a doubler Brownie unit, which would be an amazing build for the Redneck battle truck as well. This has a short bed, utility bed already on it. It's been on there since the beginning of its life. So this truck is kind of as it sits or as it sat working its whole life. This truck would be an amazing candidate for the Redneck battle truck. Last but not least, we have truck number 3. Truck number 3 is a 1978 Ford F-350 crew cab. This was actually a gift from my brother-in-law. He started to do the frame-off restoration and then gave it to me in this condition. Very grateful that he stopped at this point because this truck would be ideal for a 4-wheel drive conversion, slap a 12-valve and a 5-speed in there, and this truck would be a good candidate for the Redneck battle truck. But we're going to let you, the users, decide, and now we're going to get into a little bit more specifics on each truck. Truck number 1 is a 1971 F-250 factory 4-wheel drive with a 6.9 IDI Ford motor in it. The owner I bought it from before me put the 6.9 in there, backed by a ZF 5-speed. Said he had it running and driving years ago, prior to me buying it. It's already outfitted with power steering, which is really nice. So with any luck, if the guy's story checks out, it won't be very difficult to get this thing running and driving. It does need some body work on it, but it already has an amazing flatbed. The body work on it that's needed is minimal. The guy I bought it from was a fabricator and a body guy, so he actually fixed all the rust on this thing, and it's done really well. Usually I don't say that about people's rust repair, but this guy actually knew what he was doing, and he did it really, really well. This one has a 1967 cab on it. It doesn't really mean much for the build, but just a little history lesson for everybody tracking along with the crew cab stuff. In 1967, Ford only built 2 models of crew cabs, both 2-wheel drives, Ford F-250, Ford F-350 crew cabs, under 1,000 in each production, maybe I think 700 to 800. So very, very low production in 1967. And if anybody knows these bump side trucks very well, 1967 was the first year of the bump side, and they have some pretty unique features to it. So although this is a 1971, it does have a cool cab on it that would be really cool to build for the Redneck battle truck. Here's the flatbed. It's all steel, built really, really nice. These are some huge stacks for exhaust that I picked up at a local swap meet for a few bucks, and that would make an amazing exhaust system for a Redneck battle truck. And although ideally I'd like a service bed on the Redneck battle truck just to store rations, ammo, masks, clothes, water, whatever, a flatbed would do the job because we can outfit it with some toolboxes and whatnot. So this 1971 is a perfect contender for the Redneck battle truck, but we've got 2 other really great trucks that I think would be an amazing builds. Check out the bumper on this thing too. Whenever you're doing a Redneck battle truck, in my mind, you're going to want a good bumper. That's a good bumper. This next truck was actually where I got the idea for the Redneck battle truck. This truck is the 1970 F250 factory four-wheel drive, and it lived its life working the Alaska pipeline. As I said before, it got outfitted right after leaving the factory with the Detroit 453 that's still in the truck today. Now it needs to get rebuilt, so we would rebuild that here. It's got no compression. It still starts, it still moves around the yard, and it sounds like a freight train coming down the road. This thing just sounds amazing. We have a 4-inch straight pipe coming out the back, and it just sounds nasty. This thing also got decked out with this utility bed, which for those guys who build trucks or no trucks, a vintage short bed utility bed, they're almost impossible to find. So this thing has had this thing on here since 1970. Pretty awesome. It's also got some other unique features on it that I think would be really handy for a Redneck battle truck. It's got, of course, your built-in vise on the bumper. It's got your crane, which we would get working because you never know what you're going to have to crane. And it's got all the compartments ready to go for all of your redneck needs. So I'd imagine popping this down, and instead of there being tool shelves here, we're going to mount, you know, two ARs, have your ammo in this side. You know, can you see the vision? Can you see the vision? You're going to have your gas masks, your food, your rations, your helmets, whatever you need. This thing has a Clark 5-speed transmission. It's got a Brownie box doubler, so you can actually flip it around. It's directional, and you can flip it around to be an overdrive or an underdrive. I believe it's set up to be an underdrive. And then it's got its stock transfer case. But this thing is an absolute beast. It too has the factory drivetrain, so it's got your Dana 44 up front, and it's got your Dana 60 in the rear. It's got your jacks back here, your jack stands, your stabilizers, whatever you want to call them. So if you're working on the back, you're hoisting something up, this thing is absolutely amazing. Yeah, let's give this thing a start. You can see how the 2-stroke 453 sounds. Yeah. It still runs, and it still sounds pretty freaking awesome. It's got a straight 4-inch pipe out the back of this beast, and it just sounds like a freight train coming down the road. All right, last but not least on the 3 trucks that we need to choose from is this 1978 Ford F350. My vision for this is to scrap the 2-wheel drive hardware, put a 4-wheel drive conversion using Super Duty axles. We would put a 12-valve P-pump Cummins in here with a 5 or a 6-speed, and then backed by a new process 205 transfer case. This thing would be absolutely bulletproof as far as drivetrain goes. It would be relatively modern, I'd say. Of course, we'd throw air conditioning in while we're at it, things of that nature, even though you don't need that if you're out in the woods surviving. But it's at a good starting point body-wise. There's no rust, all that's been taken care of. And this is the only one in the Redneck battle truck lineup that's a long bed. So we can find a utility bed for this pretty easy. And I'd probably opt to do a utility bed on this if this was the choice. If this was the truck of choice to do. So it's going to need a full restoration on this. Everything's going to need to get done as far as wiring. So this would probably be the most work and the longest build. But as you can see, there's 3 pretty amazing trucks, pretty good starting points on each one, pretty good unique features on each one. As I said earlier, we're gonna let you, the viewer, decide which truck that we build for the Redneck Battle Truck. So what I need you to do is I need you to go to the comment section on this video and post which truck you want to see and why. In recap, let's go over the 3 trucks so you know how to title them in the comments. We've got the 1971 with the 6.9 IDI backed by a 5-speed. We've got the 1970 with the Detroit 453. And we've got the 1971 that we're going to put a 12 valve backed by a 5 or 6-speed. I'm going to count the votes June 1st, and we're going to get started on the build in June. So subscribe to our channel and look for upcoming videos on this particular build, as well as upcoming videos on other cool crew cab stuff. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.